Well, good morning or good afternoon everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For this week's video I am going to present the next few days' progress from the last trip to Minnesota for the Missabe Western Railroad build. After the first 5 days of the trip was spent doing other things, I was finally able to get into track laying in the paper mill area. Additionally, at the end of this video I decided to tack on what limited time-lapse video I was able to get of the process. I'm actually very disappointed in the new range of GoPro cameras. They just can't do what my old Series 4 camera could do. And in fact I was so disgusted that I just returned both of them to Best Buy. And since the experts in 2 different Best Buy stores have not been able to point me in the direction of an alternative camera that can do time-lapse, I don't currently own one. So anyway, before I get too far off topic, let's just head back to the customer's basement and get busy. Well, I've got the first 4 lengths of flex track soldered in pairs and bent to the approximate shape. I haven't started gluing them yet, but I do have the rail ends trimmed off. And all the turnouts that I built for the visible portion, I put in boxes according to where they're going to be used. This longer box is all the mainline turnouts on this half of this deck, and the shorter box is the code 70 turnouts for the industrial spurs in the front of the track. I got that one out because I need to put these 2 curved turnouts just temporarily in the right places just to get the right alignment onto the main line. I think the toe of the turnout goes here where my finger is. That's where the track plan showed it, but sometimes I can get a slightly better alignment by adjusting it slightly. Well, here's all the mainline turnouts for this side. We have one number 6, one number 7, a whole load of number 8s, and 3 number 10s. There's a crossover and a mainline junction that I use the number 10s for. And then everything else is number 8s, except for a couple of tracks leading off to the switching areas, which are the shorter ones. Well, here is the alignment for this yard entry. I just went over to the computer and looked at my layout plan, and I find that these 2 turnouts need to be trimmed. That's why I couldn't get them to work beforehand. And I'm a little bit off with the road bed, but not to worry, I can just push a sliver in there once it's installed. And although this is a piece of code 83 flex track, it does show that the alignment still works. Everything off the main line, we're going with code 70. So at this point there'll have to be a special rail joiner. I'll show you how I make those when I get to them. And also this switch machine has to be non-standard because it's right above the helix, which is only about 4 inches below us. So I'm going to have to cut the road bed, put a tube in and mount the switch machine in the back here. But the next thing to do is to get these 3 turnouts trimmed so they fit together properly. Don't go away, I'll check in with you again later. Well, the first step with making transition rail joiners is to slide regular rail joiners onto the larger of the 2 rails. And now what I'm going to do is just squeeze them flat with a pair of pliers, and that will make a shelf that I can put the smaller rail on top of and just solder it. So let me go away, do that, and I'll be right back. Well, this joint is now finished. I have installed the code 70 rail on top of the squashed rail joiner, and then the last step is to finish it up with a needle file until it is absolutely smooth. And that I've now done. So this crossover joining the code 83 main line to the code 70 industrial spurs is now done. One of the wood ties fell out when I was filing it, but that's okay. I can easily glue it back in again once it's installed. Next thing I have to do is to shim this step, because where I'm going from the 1/4 inch road bed on the main to the 1/8 inch on the spurs. I have various thicknesses of shim which I will just use to make that a smooth transition. And then I have to get the holes in the benchwork in the right place for the switch machines. Well, this end anyway. This end is going to be surface mounted, as I've already talked about. Well, here is the work area as I left it last night. I wanted to leave plenty of weight on these turnouts for a good length of time because they'd be too easy to knock out of alignment if I wasn't careful. Also got these curves in. Next thing I've got to do is get rid of all these weights. There's a short piece of track to go in here, and then I'll work around both main lines around this curve towards the tripod where the GoPro is set up. And then I'll gradually work my way back, getting all the code 83 in. I'm not going to do much in the way of the code 70 now because I don't want to mix the flex track up and risk using the wrong piece. Well, I've got the next batch of turnouts prepped. There's 7 of them here. 6 code 83, and that one at the back is a code 70. And all of them had to be trimmed in some way. This one here, it was just a case of trimming the ends of the ties, so the regular track, the ties will butt up to the end of those and it would look like they're continuous. But everything else, the rails had to be cut back in various places. And there's no way of rushing it, just got to take my time. But I'm happy with the fit now. So I've got to drill all the holes in the benchwork, and I've also got holes to drill in the tie bars, and then I can get them all glued down. So don't go away, I'll check in with you again later. Well, I've been here for 1 week now, and I haven't got as far advanced in the paper mill area as I would have liked, but that's because I've been doing other stuff as well. If you recall, there were 2 days at the start where I had to do some troubleshooting and track cleaning, and then I spent a lot of time on that new area with the temporary turn back curves to complete the continuous runs. And this bit down here is really only about 2 days work that I've been able to put in on it. But yesterday was good progress. I installed 22 turnouts. Well, actually 21 turnouts in the diamond crossing, so 22 pieces of point work. And I've got 4 more prepped ready to go in. But it was late last night, I didn't really feel like gluing them. I didn't want to risk making a mistake while I was tired. So I left them for this morning. All the main lines are complete, all the way from the lower helix and all the way through this town. All the way to this first entry crossover. This morning I am going to continue where I left off yesterday, but that will be for another video. Well, that's all for this week. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope to see you again next time. Thanks for watching and bye for now.